The jury in the trial of an Australian man accused of murdering a New Zealand tourist who fell to her death from his apartment balcony has retired to consider its verdict. Gable Tostee, who's 30, has denied, of course, killing Warriena Wright, who climbed over his 14th floor Gold Coast balcony just over 2 years ago. The issue for the jury to consider is what drove her to do that. The pair met through the dating app Tinder earlier that evening. ABC reporter Louisa Rebgetz has been in the Brisbane Supreme Court this evening and joins us now. Thank you for being with us, Louisa. What did the judge say in his summing up? Because it strikes me this is an important summing up for the jury.
Well, that's right, John. Justice John Byrne here in the Brisbane Supreme Court essentially spent about 90 minutes summing up both the prosecution and the defence case in the trial of Gable Tostee. He sent the jury out at about 12:35 local time, which was less than 2 hours ago. As you said, Tostee is on trial for the murder of New Zealand tourist Warriena Wright, who fell to her death in August 2014. Now, Tostee is not accused of pushing her or throwing her off the balcony, but the Crown case centres on intimidation, and the judge did spend a lot of time around the intimidation that's alleged to have faced Ms. Wright, and that he intimidated her so much that the 26-year-old felt she feared for her life, that the only way she could save her life was to climb over the balcony. Now, the defence said, and the judge went over this, that she was acting irrationally and that her decision to climb over the balcony was unforeseeable. The court heard that she'd been drinking and that both had been engaged in violence towards each other before Tostee locked her out on the balcony. And crucial evidence, and the judge also encouraged jury members to go over this, is that there was a recording made by Tostee of the moments leading up to Ms. Wright's death. So jury members were really encouraged to look at the facts of this case. The court also heard how Tostee called his father and left via the basement, and that a call was made to his lawyer before contacting the police. Now, Justice Byrne said told jury members that they had to consider the facts and not look at his behaviour after the death or the way he might have done things that might suggest guilt, and that they needed to look at exactly what happened in the lead-up to Ms. Wright's death. So Justice Byrne told jury members that they must rely on intuition, they must not rely on intuition or guesswork or any kind of compassion, and it was about that their duty was to acquit Tostee if there was any reasonable doubt in this case. But if not, if they could find him guilty of either murder or manslaughter, but they needed to reach three conclusions, and that is that he engaged in intimidation alleged by the prosecution, that such intimidation caused Warriena Wright to do an act, and that act of hers resulted in her death. And that intimidation that he discussed, the prosecution alleges, is that Tostee restrained Ms. Wright, forced her out on the balcony and locked her on the balcony. The judge told the jury its decision to determine whether an ordinary person in the position of Tostee would have reasonably foreseen the death of Ms. Wright as a possible consequence to his conduct. So it is a very complex murder trial here that I've never covered before, that's for sure.
It's interesting that manslaughter was explicitly put before the jury as an option, so they have a great deal to consider. Any sense whatsoever about how long they will be out for? I guess it's impossible to say, isn't it?
Yes, it is impossible to say, but there was. We did expect the judge to take a lot longer today in summing up the case, and that was done, quite quickly in 90 minutes. We had expected it to go all day, so you can never tell with juries, as lawyers like to say, they're very unpredictable. So we don't know. It's a waiting game now. As of 5 minutes ago, the judge can actually accept a verdict now. So it's a waiting game, but yes. The jury has been asked to either reach a verdict of manslaughter or murder or acquit Gable Tostee.
Louisa Rebgetz, who was joining us live from Brisbane. Thank you so much, Louisa. We should say that they don't do summertime in Brisbane, so they are in fact 3 hours behind us. So there is still the possibility of a verdict today. And of course, if we hear anything while we are still on air, we will update you, and RNZ News will have any subsequent developments as the evening goes on.